15 years ago now, I started a solar energy business in Congo, right? Do I know about solar energy? No. Do I know about electricity? No. I did not know anything. You want to start something, don't just dive into it and start, then it's like somebody is trying to swim and they're not going anywhere. Having a vision is not just about, I had a dream and I see this. You have a vision, you bring people, the right people around you who would help you not just develop that vision, but also execute that vision. I go by one principle in my life: knowledge is power.
Besides enabling people to create and develop their business, Claudine is also passionate about painting, reading, playing bass guitar, photography, gardening, and traveling to discover sunny islands across the world. On her top 5 list of favourite things to do, you'll find things like investing in and developing new ventures in agriculture and sustainable development in rural Africa. That's precisely why 5 years ago she decided to develop Belt Eden, a permaculture project in Lower Congo province in DRC. Claudine, welcome to Trampoline's podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, the first podcast in the new office.
Yes, absolutely. Do you guys like it?
Yeah, I think it's coming along good. Yes. Yeah. I remember when we first walked in, I believe it was in July.
Yes.
And everything, all the tables were everywhere. It was dirty.
Chaotic.
Yeah. Webs, cobwebs.
Yes, absolutely. We've done a lot. Still not completely finished yet, but I think, at least we could use it now.
Yeah.
It's in a good state.
Yeah, it's definitely coming along.
Yes. And I really can't wait when we can start sharing it with members of our communities. That is the key thing, really. It's for us, but also for people in the community.
Yeah. So, to start this podcast, I think it would be a good idea to just introduce yourself, just for those who might not know who you are. And we can go from there.
Yes, sure. Claudine Bongo, started Trampoline. I'm the executive director and founder of Trampoline, a social enterprise which has started over 8 years ago now. Not my first enterprise, not my first ventures. I have run charities, I have run other social enterprises in Congo. I'm developing something else in Congo as well. So I've worked across continent here in the UK and back home in Congo.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I do is always socially motivated because that's where my heart is. So Trampoline is about providing business incubation support to new entrepreneur, anyone starting a business between 0 to 24 months, anybody who has an idea or think they have an idea, anybody who is a pre-start, they have the idea, they haven't even, they have no idea how to go about it, or people who have started developing their business, working, from home, being a sole founder, or maybe working with 2-3 friends, colleagues. Yes, so that's what we do. We provide them with all the support, the guidance, whatever we can help them to grow their idea, to make it, to help them materialize their idea and actually get them to a point where they can start selling their product or services.
Yeah, so, like you said, it wasn't your first enterprise, and obviously there's a lot of things that you're working on. And obviously you mentioned you help people with small businesses in the early stages. So, I think what would be interesting for them to hear is how you first got started with Trampoline. How did the idea come around? How did you start? Because, now you have a team of just under 10
Yes.
And, someone will look at you and be like, she's got it all sorted out.
Yeah.
So, but I probably assume it wasn't always like that.
Got it sorted. Still trying to grow it. It's never an overnight success story. It's trial and tribulations and trepidations, and you try this time and it works. You try something else. Sometimes it doesn't work. But you persevere. You continue. You have a vision. You work toward achieving your vision. So yes, why I started this trampoline. So I'll take you back to 2001 or two, where I started another trampoline, which was a charity, a charitable organization registered as a charity. It was about providing support to African French speaking women who came in this country who were living, who were refugees or asylum seekers. Why? Because I came in this country as an asylum seeker, right? So I came, I was looking for support to get into employment. I had my first degree, I had a postgrad degree, but not from this country. And I was thinking, how can I do something? How can I utilize my knowledge, my skills, my couldn't find the information, couldn't find the guidance that I needed. Luckily, there was an organization back then, Refugee Council, was really extremely active in the community. They gave me all the guidance to set up that trampoline, right? So to set up trampoline as a charity 25 years ago was easy because I had the support of the Refugee Council, right? But then when I started setting up other enterprises, mainly social enterprises, I could not find the same level of support. So you'd think charity, social enterprise is pretty much the same thing, but there are, kind of intricacies. There are differences between the two structures, and the way you access a charity, support to a charity wasn't necessarily available for social enterprises. So for me, it was really about, okay, I was looking for support to set up a social enterprise after that trampoline, couldn't find it. Then I knew exactly what were the steps I was going through to try and identify that support that wasn't there. So when it came to my next venture, I thought, that's really a no-brainer. I know what people want. But in the meantime, I had people coming to me all the time, right? My background is in accountancy and finance. I absolutely hated working as an accountant in finance. But I had the one thing I'm always grateful for is the knowledge, the skills, everything that I had acquired through my uni years, right? So I was then able to know exactly that, okay, I don't want to work in finance, but I could utilize all this knowledge, all those skills for something else. Mm-hmm. My passion has always been about helping other develop their skills, acquire knowledge, because I go by one principle in my life: knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. If you want to really help someone, give them the knowledge to do what they need, right? Yeah. So yes, from being in a position where I could not find the support that I needed, I just thought, okay, now I know what the process is. Let me enable other people do what I couldn't find support for. Mm. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because you was mentioning utilizing all the information you learned at university and then sharing it and those skills and, yes, using it, transferably. Myself as well, like I studied finance and I went into it with the similar mindset. I didn't think I want a degree. I went into it thinking I can use these skills and then, use them outside of university or work and maybe even teach them, which I did. I had a business in COVID, which I used the knowledge I was learning in university, and I was teaching it onwards, yes, to other people who don't have access to university.
Absolutely.
And that's university is good because you obviously it's a safety net. Like you need a degree, mm-hmm, but then, like you said, it's not the end goal for everyone.
No, it's not. I mean, what I really like I said, what I really like about my, kind of courses in terms of my education. So I did applied economics as a first degree. I did international business as a postgrad. When I came to this country, I studied accountancy and management, and I did another postgrad in leadership and management. Having all that, right, put together, what I see in the people I help or we help, the thing that I see in most of our clients is that they're absolutely brilliant in what they do, in developing their concept, but what they're lacking is the structure. The structure to develop a sound business. And that's what makes them fail. As you know, 60 to 65% of businesses or startup don't make it past the first 12 months. Why? Simply because they don't know how to do finance. They don't know how to keep record of their transaction. They don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how, all the things that to run their operations. All the things that we teach them is about helping them developing a stronger structure for the business. They have the knowledge, they have the skills, and I have no doubt that what they do is brilliant. But the thing that we want to help them with is to get them to the next level of creating a sustainable business. I always ask people, is it a business or a hobby? If it's a hobby, go your merry way, continue doing what you're doing. But if it's a business, I want you to take it seriously. Whatever we kind of showing you or helping you with, take it seriously, because that's what will make a difference between a business and a hobby.
Right. Yeah, no, that's interesting, because you could go to university and study business, but someone who, well, this is what I've seen myself anyway, and it's quite an obvious trend, but someone who might attend trampolines programs, they might walk away with more knowledge about how to start a business, run a business, than someone who goes to university for 3 years and sits through all those courses, like modules, lectures, because the way university works is they teach you about other businesses, but they never get to the part of how to run a business. How do you start a business? How do you do this tax? How do you do these accounts? Like they don't teach you that. They teach you about what Tesco done in 1980 and do a report on that. So the value that trampoline offers from the programs is, people don't really understand or realize the knowledge, because you won't learn that you don't need a degree for that information.
So what I'm not going to do is to knock down universities, because I think they're great places. I'm a big believer in university. I think it kind of structures your mind. The one thing that I would say I took away from university is having that logical mind, knowing how to structure your thinking, learning how to think critically, right? Construct your way of thinking. I think that's something good. And you learn tons of other things, right? But what we do, I think, is more about adding value to what people have or do not have, right? Sometimes not everybody goes to university, but what we're trying to do here is to compress whatever exists out there and make it tangible, make it practical. It's more about the practicality. People who go through our program will probably go through 12 weeks, around 3 months of business business skills development through training. They learn about marketing, they learn about operational planning, they learn about business operation, they learn about finance, they learn about sales, they learn about all the topics they learn about ethics and compliance. All the things that we teach, right, are things that people probably have never thought about or never heard about, right? But we compress the information, we provide it in a way that is practical, right? When you come to a marketing class with us, a marketing session with us, you are sure to go away from that learning with something. You would know about your target market or how to identify your target market. You would know about your customer, your personas, right? You would know about your how to go about identifying those customers. You would know about how to price them, right? You would know about how to position them within the whole market. You would know about how to identify your competitors and how to position yourself within your market and you know next to your competitors. It's about tangible, practical things like that, right? We have helped people think about ethics, about compliance. They'll come to classes, they'll come to our courses. They've never really given any thought about ethical consideration. But we tell them, okay, we are going to give you the information. It is possible to run a business on an ethical basis, right? It is good to make profit, but you could go beyond that. You could make profit, but you could also have an impact on people around you, right? There we're talking about the double bottom line business model, where it's about, yes, we're making profit, but we also care about our people being our staff, our supplier, our communities, anybody we come into contact with throughout our operation. That's one thing. You could go even further. It could be about looking at profit, people, but also planet. What can we do? When you start talking about planet, people think, oh, that's too much. I'm only running a small business. Yes, but through running your small business, you could choose a printer that is eco-friendly. You could choose a small fridge, a mini fridge that is LED. You could turn off all your appliances before you leave. Small things, and people start thinking, oh, actually, I can do something. But also, when you tell them on top of that, do you know that there's a whole market of people out there who would only do business with you if they know you care about ethics, about those very ethical considerations that we're talking about? It starts clicking in their mind. So our knowledge is all about practical things. We want people to use those consideration, apply them to their business, and help them grow the business.
Yeah. So, obviously you're helping a lot of people with their new businesses. What is the most common problem that you think people come across when they're like, Claudine, how do I do X, Y, Z? What is the most common thing you hear?
Lack of planning. Obviously, everybody will come to you about lack of money, right? I need finance. It's always about finance. Yeah. But finance, to me, I always say, let's not focus on finance. It's an issue. It can be a big issue, but finance is not everything. Let's talk about your planning, right? And with that, if you have a good plan in place, if you know how you're going to develop it, if you know how you're going to implement it, it would help you attract good people, staff, attract money, right? Because you know exactly, right? All you're doing is to follow your vision. Know exactly what your sense of direction. Yeah. So main thing I would say, let's talk about planning. But on top of planning, business planning, or kind of how to plan your operation, it's also about managing their own time. How do you manage your time, right? You're working full time. You have a 5 days per week job, and sometimes you're working. Some people work 6 days per week. You have small children, but then you're trying to develop this venture. How realistic is it? It's about having those honest conversations. Is this really the good time? I'm not here to say, oh, you know what, just leave it alone. No, but let's be realistic. Is it something that you can actually do now? Or is it probably best to wait until your youngest one reach, I don't know, a kindergarten, 3, 4, they can go, and it gives you a little bit of time for yourself. Because if you're trying to cram too much within this time that you don't have any spare time. how are you going to work toward developing a business? A business is a baby, right? Developing a new business is like having another baby. You got to give it your time. But if you don't have that time, how about we wait? Postpone it. It's your idea, and you will always be the best one to execute it. You might find other people who come and steal away your idea. They hear you talk about it, they take it away, they run with it. But will they actually be able to execute it the way you want it to be executed? I always say no to that. No. You know best. You know how you're going to do it. So when the time is right, do it. But do it with having a good structure, a good planning in place.
Yeah. And it's like if you want to do, like, you have a business idea and you have a vision and you want, you care about it enough, you will do it 5 years from now, 10, whatever, whatever you have to wait, you will come around again and be like, oh yeah, I had that idea, but you'll keep talking about it, like it won't go away. But yeah, on that topic, like, how important would you say having a vision is? Because I know a lot of people probably start a business with the prime goal of, I want to make money, extra money, but that money doesn't necessarily come unless everything else is in place, right? So how important would you say having a clear vision is?
I would quote something, and people who know me well enough would know that sometimes I would quote Bible verses. It says, without a vision, my people will perish, right? So this tells you everything you know about having a vision. A vision is everything, right? You want to start something, don't just dive into it and start, it's like somebody is trying to swim and they're not going anywhere, right? Take your time, sit down, write it down, right? Write down your vision, make it plain, make it clear. So whoever will read it may run with that vision, help you develop that vision, right? Having a vision is not just about, I had a dream and I see this. Write it down. And the process, personally, I find that the process of writing down things that I visualize in my mind helps me a great deal. It kind of solidifies. I'm going to tell you a story. 15 years ago now, I started a solar energy business in Congo, right? Do I know about solar energy? No. Do I know about electricity? No. I did not know anything. But I just thought, every time I go back home, there's, power cut. There's no electricity, not enough electricity, plenty of sunshine. Isn't it a no-brainer? You take the sunshine, you take the lack of electricity, and you kind of develop a structure. I embarked onto that venture of providing access to electricity to people in inner city and urban, inner city and rural areas. Brought together, being a leader is about knowing how to bring together around you, right? Had a small team, 2 electricians, a project manager, and a driver. That's all I had. So I learned through them. We would have sessions where we would sit down and my electrician would kind of explain to me, no, this is how it works, this is how it... I ran that organization for 4 or 5 years until it became really difficult to continue. It wasn't really sustainable because of... So I've worked all my life in this country, starting a venture now back home in Africa was completely different mindset, corruption and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not that corruption exists everywhere, but it was really difficult. Yeah. I was mainly working with international organizations, with INGOs, so international aid agencies. These were my main client. And again, the business model was the same. I would contract with them and then they would help me provide access to electricity free of charge in those areas. Not free of charge, but the setup would be free, and then people pay for subscriptions and stuff like that. Again, this is about the vision, right? You have a vision, you bring people, the right people around you who would help you not just develop that vision, but also execute that vision. And that's why I always say it doesn't really matter what type of business you want to do, as long as you clear how you're going to do it, right? I think it is possible.
Yeah, no, just you talking to me about that whole business idea.
Yeah.
To me, it's like how did she do that? How did she manage this? But having, you've got the vision, you've got it planned out. You know that this person done this person was overlooking this. So to you, it's like it wasn't that complicated because everything was planned out properly.
Yeah.
But to someone else, it's like because they don't have your vision, it's like, wow, like how did she?
It's the sense of vision, but also it's the sense of, with vision you have clarity. It's the sense of direction, and the direction is about enabling anyone to have that leadership. It's a direction. When you set up a sense of direction, it's not just for you. It's about, how am I going to drive this direction? How am I going to have shared ownership from people working with me? They say the greatest leaders are those who work with people, get them to do the stuff that they want them to do, without those people actually knowing that they think it's coming from themselves, right? So it's about that. It's about working with people, sharing your ideas so intimately that they have total buy-in. It becomes theirs. And I think we are at a great point in trampoline here with all of you guys, right? We are at a point where I know that, okay, we're getting to a point where I don't need to be there. No, don't worry, I'm still going to be there. But, even if I'm not here, I know Jay knows what to do. Niraj knows what to do. Amara, Faith, Andrea, everybody know their place. They know their role, right? I don't need to be there like a puppet master, just kind of, oh, here, you move here. No, that is not leadership. That's management. I don't like managing people. I like leading and hopefully getting that sense of buy-in from everybody, where everybody contribute and say, no, I think we should do this way. I think it would work well this way. So yeah, it's about getting to a point where you also, the other thing that is sometimes challenging is letting go. You start a business, you start a project, it's your baby, it's yours, and then you have to get to a point where it's okay. If I'm not in today, if I take 2 weeks off, I know Jay's going to be there. I know Niraj is going to be there, and they will work on it. And I know I can rest assured when I come back, it will be exactly the way I wanted it to be. Get to a point when you start a business, try to get to a point where you share it well enough with other people that they understand you and they can deliver on your behalf.
Yeah.
That's part of the growth.
Yeah, no, obviously, like you mentioned, there's a lot of individuals who might be thinking, I don't want someone else working on my dream or my business because it's mine. Because like you said, it becomes like a baby. But, what would you say to that person who is, like, I want to do everything. I want to manage this. I want to manage the marketing. I want to do the accounts. What would you say to that individual in terms of?
You're going to burn out. You're going to reach a time where you just cannot continue because it's not sustainable. It is just not sustainable for one individual. Yes, at the beginning, first year, first couple of years, sometimes 3 years, you do everything, right? But it gets to a point where you are sound enough financially, start buying expertise, services from other people so you can actually grow, right? I mean, even I go through the same process. I had a long meeting this morning. I'm talking to somebody who would potentially become my advisor. Because the thing about running a business, it's very lonely, right? You get to a point where it is just you. If you can be networking, you could be, sharing your ideas, but that clarity, it's not like when you work in an office, you have a line manager and you have supervision, once a month or once every, on a fortnightly basis. No, you never have that, right? But it's good to get to a position like where you can talk to somebody and become like a sounding board. You testing your ideas with them, and they have the expertise, they have the experience, they're kind of helping you, pushing you to the next level. If you just sit there and constantly thinking, "Oh, I can never share my ideas with others," it's like having a baby and saying, the toddler, you're thinking, "Oh, I can never let my baby go to kindergarten. They can never go to school because it's my baby." It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
And then you obviously mentioned networking. Like, what would you say, how important would you say networking is in terms of business? Obviously, Trampoline does many events, Makers Market, where, loads of different businesses can, owners can talk to each other, exchange ideas, offer services to each other, So, how would you kind of say, networking, how important it is?
It is very important, and that's why we devise these programs within our services. So we have the Let's Talk Business networking event, but we also have the Makers Market. And like you said, Let's Talk Business is the platform, is the place where new startup come and talk to each other, and that's the birthing place of collaborations, of partnerships, of oh right, you do this, okay, I do that, how much, can we work together? So you kind of creating that ecosystem where people are talking to one another, buying from one another, and then we're strengthening the ecosystem of small businesses here in Southwark and beyond. That's the vision, to do it, beyond Southwark, right? There's that, but there's also the Makers Market that you cited. That's another place where people are, okay, you started your business, you've never sold any of your product apart from, your friends and family, they love it, they'll always take, but they'll never really buy, right? So yes, come and sell. We're giving you this platform, right? Come and sell with us. It's a competitive environment, but it's a safe environment. It's one where you can actually sell, but the vendor next to you is somebody you've been on a course with, right? It's not intimidating. It's not scary. It's still competitive, but it kind of removes that thing. So what I'm saying here is that networking is really important. Get to talk to people who are at the same level, who have done it before, who have, experience, expertise in doing what you're trying to do, right? Get to network, but don't become absolutely obsessed with networking. I see people who do nothing but networking. What is your time management? How much do you spend time making? How much time do you spend making? How much time do you spend selling, promoting, looking after your finance? Half a day, I always tell new startup, depending on the number of transactions you have, half a day every other week, or half a day per month, or a day per month if you're really early stage. Just sit down, write down your finance, transaction, money in, money out, tally, right? But if you do nothing but networking, is it actually effective? Networking is like everything. It has to have a purpose, right? When you start a marketing campaign, they ask you, what is the object? What do you want to achieve? The same way, I would say, All right, you go embarking into this crusade of networking. What is the purpose? Have a plan. It boils down to having a plan. What are you doing it for? If you don't know, I'll say go back to the drawing board, sit down and have your plan. Marketing. Why am I doing marketing? What am I trying to achieve? Networking. Why am I doing this? What's the end result? My operation. Why am I doing this? What is the end result? It's always about knowing what you want to achieve.
No, that makes sense. So another topic I wanted to touch on was learning, the like willingness to learn. There's a lot of people that you might speak to. They're like, oh, they might see you doing something and they'll be like, oh, I want to learn that as well. And you'll tell them because you're ambitious. You're really passionate about the idea yourself.
Yes.
So you'll be like, oh, okay, so what you need to do is this, that, the other. I've had this. I'm talking from experience, and you share all your knowledge, and then that person just goes off and doesn't do anything with it, and then they'll come again in a month. Oh yeah, I saw you was doing that. I really want to learn how to do it as well.
Yeah.
But it happens so many times that you start to feel stupid. That why am I'm talking so passionately about this to this person, but they're not. But the point I'm trying to make is how important do you think it is the willingness to actually wanting to learn and not just just for the sake of it, just because that person's doing it. Claudine's running a business, I want to do one. Like, how do I run a business? So how important would you say is like to be willing to learn yourself?
Yeah. That example you gave, the failure is not on you, it's on them, right? Because they're learning, but they're not really learning, right? It's all about motives. It's all about being clear, having clarity, being clear. Intentional is the word I was looking for. So I've mentored many people, right? And I always ask them, okay, why do you need me as a mentor? What difference can I make? And I would take that answer really seriously, right? Anybody who just come and say, oh, I want to be like you, I want to develop things. Well, no, for you, what is it for you?
Yeah.
What do you think emulates, this sense of wanting to learn from me in you, right? So it's about having that conversation. I would not necessarily, I don't like wasting my time and other people's time. And I always say that, look, let me not waste my time. Let me not waste your time. I'm really blunt like that with, our startup. And I tell you guys all the time, all right, is this person, what is their intention? What do they want to do? Resources are scarce, right? Resources are limited. We, even as an organization, you guys work, different number of hours, 3 days per week, 21 hours, 21 hours, 25, 28, how do we optimize our resources? If somebody's coming to asking us for our support, let's have a plan. Again, you would hear me all the time talking about having a plan. The plan that we develop with them is based off their aspirations or their intentions. What do they want to achieve? All right, if it's feasible, we'll help them, right? But before we start, we'll ask them, this is our resources. What are your resources in terms of time? How much time could you give it? So we can start working together and not get to a point where you just think, oh, this is too much, I can't do this anymore. You wasted our time, you wasted your own time. Clarity, intentionality, always about having a plan.
No. Yeah, because like you mentioned, you can have all the resources, you can have all the funding, but if you've got no intention or motivation,
Absolutely.
Like there's a lot of wealthy kids who inherit a lot of money, but they don't want to do anything with it. Like but someone with no money, they will make it work. When they have the motivation, the intention, they'll figure out how to make this business go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, I'll tell you an anecdote. I was just sitting amongst friends years ago. It's like, oh, what do you want to do? What's your biggest dream? What do you want to achieve? And I was probably talking about something about helping people, creating a new structure or something like that. And the other one said, oh, I just want to raise my kids well. And the other one say this and that. And I was this guy that would just say, I want to be a millionaire. And that kind of, took me aback. I was taken aback. I was like, okay, but why? Why do you want to be a millionaire for? Oh no, I just want to have millions sitting in my bank account. But why? And I kept asking, but why? Why do you want millions? Why do you want to be a millionaire? And there was no intentionality. It was just about being a millionaire, probably buying a couple of, high powered cars, vehicle, or buy property here, travel, and this and that. No substance within that, right? And I find people like that quite, not to judge, but it's it's empty. For me, it's empty. There is nothing. There's no substance in there. Being money is never an aim in itself, right? It means to a goal. Money is never, and that's why I guess the relationship I have with money is it's never about money and money in itself. And that's why I don't really worry about money, because I know money comes and go and money can be made, right? What I want is the tools, the capacity to make money so I can do something. It's not about just having money, accumulating money, and that's it. No. And this is something I always tell whenever I'm teaching a class, whether it's marketing or finance, I always tell people, let's not worry about money. Because everybody comes and say, I need money, I need money. Let's not worry about money, because money is actually quite easy to obtain, to secure, if you have a good plan. Some people get shocked and outraged how you can say that, because no, I can say that because I've lived a life which has been up and down, and it's never been linear.
Yeah.
Right? So I know the thing that I strive the most, the thing that I encourage my nieces and my nephews, the things that I encourage people around me to strive for is to create plans, to know, to have clarity, to have a sense of vision, to know what they want to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, they always say like money is secondary, like in business.
Absolutely.
Like if that's your primary goal, it's not going to be as effective as someone who has a vision. And like you said, like speaking to someone who just said, I just want millions in the bank.
Yeah.
But someone could be in that circle and say, my vision is to start this business that's going to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
They're going to make more money than that person.
Yes,
expecting millions, because he's got no, or he or she has no intention of where that's going to come from.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's I think that's an important point, that money is not always the main focus when starting a business.
It's never a catalyst. It's never the main thing. It's a conduit. It's a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's a tool. At the end of the day, money is like your phone, your laptop, the scissors, anything. Money is a tool. It's what enables you to get to the next level.
No.
That's all it is. But the problem is, and one of the things that we really focus on with our programs is to develop the entrepreneurial mindset. It's about also repairing people's relationship with money. People have a really bad relationship with money, where they think money is absolutely everything. But we're telling through our our program, through our event, through our discussion, we try to get them to a point where they can realize that, what, planning is more important than money. Planning will get me to money. Intention, purpose, vision will get me, might get me. I'm not saying that once you have all these things in place, that's it. You have money. You still have to work hard, but at least you've laid down the foundation for making money, for growing your business, for getting to the next step, for employing great people, for building a team around you, for treating people well, for, all these things that we sometimes take for granted.
Yeah.
They're important.
Yeah, no, definitely some good points there. So we're just coming up to the end of the podcast.
Thank you for your time. That was good.
Yeah,
Went quick.
Yeah. There's some good points there. I think people will take a lot away from today's episode.
I hope so.
But yeah, just to close out the podcast on the Trampoline podcast, we'll just ask some quickfire questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever the first thing that comes to your head, you don't have to think on it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, the first thing you think of, yeah. So the first question is, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Keep going. Yeah. Keep going, despite whatever might happen. Continue on the things that you set out to do.
Mm-hmm. And who was that?
My father.
Okay.
Yes.
So the next question, what's your favorite part of running a business?
The interaction with people and all people, right? It could be people, my staff. It could be people, my partners, our clients, our interactions. Yes. Yeah. And what comes of it. Mm-hmm. We interact, and then ideas grow. We start thinking about something. We take it to the next level. That interaction is really good.
Okay, and the last one, where do you see Trampoline in 5 years?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. I see us growing tremendously, doing a lot more that we're currently doing. So people usually know our usual services, which are about provision of business support. But we want to do more. We want to think about access to finance. How could we broker that? Access to facilities. So many people want to start things, but they're limited because, they don't have the investment, they don't have, but it doesn't mean not everybody needs to possess, right? I love the idea of shared economy. I love shared co-working space. I love models like Uber. I like models like Airbnb, where it takes one organization to have put together the resources, or put together the concept, and everybody chipping in, right? Mm-hmm. Possession, I think I'm at the stage of my life where I see that possession are no longer required. There's enough going around for everybody to just use what already exists. Mm-hmm. So developing those facilities, developing access to finance, that is absolutely key. So and with that, who knows, perhaps we can develop franchising models with what we do, or with the things that we will do in the next 5 years. I'm not going to tell you too much, but
no, sounds good. It sounds very interesting. But yeah, that's the end of the episode today.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing such good insights, and just
pleasure. It's a pleasure, and I hope we'll do a lot more podcasts in this new place. Mm-hmm. and I look forward to it.
Yeah.